They survived the sharks. That's what everyone thinks matters. The water was full of them, circling, watching, waiting. But no attack came. Not at first. Because sharks don't always strike right away. Survivors say the same thing. They circle, again and again. Not out of fear, out of calculation. They're deciding if you're worth the risk. Injured? Alone? Panicking? Then maybe. But these survivors stayed alive. They kept their distance. They stayed together. They didn't thrash. And eventually, sharks moved on. That's the part most people think is the victory. It's not. Because surviving the water is only half the battle. The real danger starts when rescue is close. Hours passed. Then finally, a boat appeared on the horizon. Relief hit instantly. This was it. They made it. But what happened next is what most people never hear about. Because rescue is where things fall apart. People panic. They rush the boat. They waste what little energy they have left. After hours in the water, the body is already shutting down. Muscles cramp. Coordination disappears. Even simple movements become dangerous. Some survivors can't even lift their arms. And then comes the first mistake. Trying to climb too fast. People slip. They fall back into the water. Sometimes under the boat, sometimes into prop wash, and in rough water, that's all it takes. Others freeze. Their body just stops responding. Cold, shock, exhaustion, it all hits at once. And the closer the rescue gets, the worse the decisions become. Because mentally, they think they're already safe. But they're not. Not yet. There's another problem most people never think about. Visibility. In open water, even a rescue boat can lose you. Waves rise. Sun glare blinds. You disappear between swells. People scream. But wind and water swallow the sound instantly. No one hears you. And if they can't see you, you don't get picked up. Some survivors drift just far enough away, and they're gone. Not because they didn't survive the sharks, but because they couldn't be found in time. The survivors who make it out almost always have one advantage. They're visible. They can signal. They don't rely on their voice. They rely on being seen or heard from a distance. That's the difference. Not strength, not luck, visibility. Because the ocean doesn't kill most people instantly. It waits. It lets small mistakes turn into final ones. And the moment people think they're safe is when they're most vulnerable. They survive the sharks. But survival doesn't end in the water. It ends when you're actually out. And most people never make it that far. The boat drew closer, and the survivors felt a flicker of hope ignite within. Eyes strained against the sun, searching for rescue, while their hearts raced with a mix of exhilaration and dread. But amidst the cheers, a sense of caution lingered. Each person instinctively understood the peril of their situation. As the boat's engine roared louder, dread crept back in, warning them that their struggle was far from over. Would they make it out in time? Would the waves swallow their cries? The reality loomed heavy. Their battle against nature had simply transformed, and the stakes were higher than before. Panic surged as the survivors realized the boat wouldn't slow down. Shouts filled the air. Voices rose in a chaotic symphony of desperation. "Wait," someone cried, but the roaring engine drowned their words, just as waves obscured the tiny figures in the water. Instinct kicked in, and the urge to swim towards safety overwhelmed their better judgment. Frantic splashes rippled across the surface, each movement sending frustration and fear spiraling higher. They didn't see the danger of the boat's trajectory or the risk of colliding with the propeller. Glancing back, they caught sight of it looming, and dread solidified in their chests. This was not the end they had envisioned. Overwhelmed by the chaos, survivors struggled to coordinate their movements, muscles cramped and fatigue setting in. "Stay calm," another voice shouted, but the message drowned in the panic. As people splashed and fought against the waves, the looming threat of the boat became all too real. A few reached their hands towards the vessel, desperate for a lifeline. But in their haste, they created obstacles for each other, inadvertently pushing themselves further away. The water churned violently, as if reflecting their turmoil, each wave concealing potential disaster beneath. Hearts pounded in unison, and every throbbing pulse echoed the fear that time was slipping away. Just beyond their grasp lay salvation, yet they felt it drifting further, stolen by the very anxiety that had gripped them. With every frantic stroke, they became more disconnected from their goal, unaware that survival was not merely about reaching the boat, but recognizing the danger in every movement they made. The boat loomed larger, yet it failed to close the distance as chaos reigned in the water. Arms flailed wildly, splashing waves that obscured judgment. A woman shrieked, "Help us!" as her strength waned. Desperation painted their faces with a mix of fear and fierce determination. The waves tossed them, making every attempt seem futile, every movement a dance of disarray. In that tumult, survival instinct kicked in. They needed to be seen, to signal their existence over the deafening engine, yet the frantic clamor only masked their cries. With heart racing, they began to realize visibility was slipping away just as quickly as hope. Just as the boat edged closer, the survivors glanced at one another, understanding dawning through the panic. They had to calm down, to focus, not flail. With shaky breaths, they began to synchronize their movements. Instead of rushing, they regained composure, aiming for the boat with careful strokes, hoping to be seen amidst the chaos.